I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure is ready, way more than ready to answer all our questions. Am I right on that, Mr. Linden? All right, now, so go ahead. The floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, Ms. Moderator. Thank you to Lady Chioma. I would really love to give you all the applause for what you have been doing. Since I've met you, you know, I was really intrigued by your passion and your attitude towards people and community.
Let me just look for the person and try to meet that person. Give me 1 second. Please, if you're not speaking, can you try to mute yourself, please? All right, I think the noise is gone out. I'm so sorry about that. Just go ahead, okay?
Thank you very much. And thank you also to the attendees and the musician. It was really a lovely rendition. Thank you. I'm really privileged to be here supporting Pleo. It's actually my second time being part of the panelists. My background, I'm a learning disability nurse by profession, and I have been working with clinical commissioning groups, CCGs, and also local authorities for the past 15 years. My day-to-day activities, it's all about funding, supporting funding, the applications that individuals, family do to the funding authorities. So without wasting much time, I thought, let me just quickly go through a PowerPoint, which has got some facts or, can you all see by any chance?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, let me request some rights. Okay, I'll share my screen.
All right, we can see the PowerPoint now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sort of quickly touch on duty of care, which, you know, it's everyone's responsibilities. Everyone, families, you know, they look after their loved ones. So really, primarily, they have the duty of care to look after their loved ones. And we've got community social voluntary groups, like the one that we are on right now, and many other, which, you know, families and individuals with disabilities should be receiving support from. So I'm just trying to sort of share some avenues of support that is available within the locality and within the authorities. We've got the local authorities, which I'll come to, which have got a duty of care, and education have got duty of care in terms of funding, also local authorities, and the healthcare commissioning groups, which I will also touch on. So funding for care, which is one of the main requirement of support, I would really sort of say the local authorities, which is social service, has got the primary duty of supporting individuals in the community with all their care and support needs. This is in line with the Care Act, and in that Care Act, that's where it stipulates what are the categories, and which I'll come to briefly. And also education, every child has got a duty to sort of receive education, and there's a special education team that deals with disabled children support. And we've got the clinical commissioning groups, which is NHS. NHS can only come in when the needs are above what local authority are supposed to support with. So that is the funding of care arrangements that we have in UK in terms of support. Now, I will briefly touch on the role of local authority and clinical commissioning groups to carers and even to clients themselves. like I initially stated, local authority has got the primarily duty of supporting individuals with health and social care needs. So there is an assessment process that is there and an assessment criteria. So it is very, very important for families and for clients to be able to understand the assessment process to enable them to be processed appropriately and actually right information going to the funding panels and authorities in order for support to be given. So sometimes people do not get the right support because the appropriate assessments have not been done. And some of the barriers that causes these appropriate assessments not being done, it might be language barrier, which is a common factor in ethnic minority groups. So it is very, very important for families to request for interpreter if necessary, so that whenever information is being collected, they are getting accurate information, and that information is also person-centered. It is very important for any care needs or care arrangements to have care planning. So all this care planning is very important because it enables funding authorities to understand and be able to know where exactly their money is going to. So you'd find out sometimes your budget can be cut and you wonder why is the budget being cut. It is because sometimes of the care planning that if the care planning is not demonstrating the day-to-day activities that are happening, you'd find out that individuals will end up not receiving adequate support. I dare say part of my day-to-day role is to ensure we support government in the cutting of unnecessary expenditures in support. So this is where people, especially I've observed in ethnic minority, they will still be experiencing challenges, but because it's not demonstrated, I think many might be aware that in health or some social workers, some nurses, they will tell you if it's not written, it's not happening. So it is very important for carers, for families to keep records of what is happening, whether it is an epileptic activity, seizure, you know, it should not be something that when you are being asked, you approximate to sort of say, you should be able to have records of everything that is happening. And it is important to request for reviews and have the care being implemented. So you'd find out that those who have been assessed, they receive direct payments, and in health, we've got what we call personal health budget. This is very, very important for you to be able to tailor make your care. And in that way, you'll be able to receive the appropriate and care in the way you want it individually. Specifically, you can actually have people who speak the same language as you, but that should not also impact when we come to the assessment and review again, because they should be able to demonstrate to the funding authorities what is being utilized and what the budget is for. So it's very important for carers to be aware of how to demonstrate to funding authorities, which is the local authority or clinical commissioning groups. It is important to shout for help, but that is the best way to shout for help, by just having records of the day-to-day running. So there is support in crisis times. We've seen what has happened last year, that we have come across a pandemic, and many people were not expecting or prepared for this pandemic. So the most important person, especially for people with disabilities, I dare say, is your GP. Your general practitioner will enable you to get whether it is referral for assessments, any support. I know many people will say their GP is not really effective, but there is a record that is kept at the surgery. This will help to demonstrate the overall needs when they are being assessed, whether from a social perspective or from a health perspective. So your GP is a very, very important friend, if I may say, in terms of supporting you, being signposted to services. It is very, very important to request for appropriate assessments and diagnosis of conditions. And this can only come from the GP services, because they are the ones who do the referrals. And obviously, when you are being supported under health and social care, you find out that you normally have a social worker or case manager. Those individuals are very important to work with, because these are part of the support network that will enable any funding request or any care arrangements to be sort of made. So whenever you are in a crisis, make sure that you get hold of your case manager, your GP. It doesn't really matter that your GP will call you problematic, but the good thing, every phone call you make, it is recorded on a system, what we call System 1. And in as much as I know families and carers, you are the best experts in managing individual conditions and needs, be it as simple as a flu, but it is important to keep the doctor aware that, look, we are having bouts of flu, we are managing, but if it exceeds, we'll let you know. So all these will eventually form part of an assessment later of any needs that one can have. And the most important as well, as carers and as clients, you need to be familiar with the government website. It has got a lot of support, especially in this time with regards to COVID. One of the if I click on this link, it will take us to, I don't know whether you can still see my screen.
Yeah, we can see it.
Where it talks about personal protective equipment. I don't know, is it still the same screen?
No, we have support in crisis time. That's what we have right now.
Okay, let me share with you this screen, which is part of the government website website that I was trying to take you to. So this is what is on the government website, and is currently information that we are sharing with families on how to acquire personal protective
Of that plan,
especially during this time of the pandemic, because sometimes you call, nobody answers you. So it will tell you of the centers and places all around England and who to contact. So things are changing each day, each time, and the government website is a very, very important tool that will help you to probably understand and also get direction into what are the changes and the support that is available. So there's no need to sort of suffer in silence. The most important thing really is to ensure that you communicate with your case managers, your social worker, and also utilize the complaints processes, whether with the commissioners in the local authority or in the clinical commissioning groups. And this platform like Pleo is a very, very good foundation, especially if you are continuing to work together, because as carers, as individuals who are facing challenges or similar challenges per se, you have a voice. You will have a voice if you continue working as an organization. So for instance, Pleo can be able to amplify all the challenges that ethnic minority carers of disabled children, adults are facing within their community. And it's easily heard rather than a group of individuals who are just making noise. So that is really the support that is available in our local authorities and in the clinical groups. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for quickly listening. Or what I was just trying to share with you is that there is help, there is funding opportunities, if I may say, both within the local authority and within clinical commissioning groups. I would like to take any questions if anyone has got any questions regarding my small presentation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lindy, for that presentation. Great information that you provided for us. We really appreciate that. And now, so to all the participants, if you have any question for Mr. Lindy, like I said, is well prepared for each and every one. So just ask him the question, and I'm pretty sure that he's going to give us the right answer. So any question for him? And like I say, if you're shy like me, you can just go ahead and type it in the chats. What is it called? You can just type it in the chat, and I'll read it, and I'll also read it out so you can answer it, okay? And like I said, if you're not speaking, please try to mute yourself, please, okay? Thank you. All right, questions now? I don't see any hands raised. Seems like everyone is clear on what you just presented to us, Mr. Lindy. Okay, let's just give them 2 more minutes. Maybe they're trying to process everything you just discussed and what you just discussed with us. So let's give them about 2 more minutes, okay? Okay. So we're waiting on questions. Any question? I don't see anything on the chat too. Okay, well, we have to continue. I think everyone, I mean, I think it was just a very, very straightforward presentation. So there's no questions so far. So thank you so much for the presentation, and thank you so much for your time, all right? So now I'm going to call on our next speaker. And the second speaker is Miss Queen Iron Ayer. She's a practitioner at the Milton Keynes Council. She has a background in working with families with disability, and also she's so vast in what she does. So she's going to provide us with tons and tons of information. And also she has personal experience with disability. So I'm pretty sure everything she's going to be providing for us today is going to come from the personal experience that she has. So, Miss Queen, where are you? We need you.
I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, now.
Thank you, moderator, and thank you all for having me. I've been asked by the chief executive of Pleo to talk about my experience in relation to improving the lives of and chances of disabled families. My experience is that of ASD and learning difficulties. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
ASD is autistic spectrum disorder. No one knows what causes autism, but children with autism are very special to me. Unfortunately, autism is not a condition that can be cured with medication. Autism affects all races. It does not discriminate. What do I know about autism, you might ask? Well, I have a lot of personal and professional experiences. Firstly, you need to know and request for help. So if you know there's something wrong with your child, your GP has told you there might be something wrong with your child. And I know as Africans, we always shy away from accepting there's something wrong with our child. Please do not pretend that it's a developmental problem. Please, without delay, seek help. So somebody from school might tell you there's something wrong with your child. He or she doesn't concentrate in the class. He or she is always running around, not listening, or they don't even hear you. Please seek help. Early assessment and diagnosis will lead to a better outcome for your child in future. Initially, your child will be referred for a full developmental check, which will involve speech and language, audiology, and various other tests. Sometimes it takes longer to get a diagnosis because it's not it's all about what is best for your child. Okay? Educational needs are taken very seriously during assessments, and usually an educational psychologist is involved for your child educational needs. The spectrum is on a different level. So the help that your child will get is also different from one child to another. This may be different for different councils. For example, in Milton Keynes, how they operate will be different from those in London. Time of diagnosis is also different from one child to another based on their level of needs. Early diagnosis with the appropriate therapy, intervention, and education, people with autism can have and enjoy a productive and independent lives. When it comes to autism and education, the school are always proactive because they need the money. I mean, if you have a child that is disruptive in the class, or for one thing or the other, the child does not concentrate, does not assimilate anything, other children will be affected. Their education will be impacted. And in order not to stop other children from learning, please listen to your child's teacher or health visitor or whoever is asking you to refer your child. An important document is the Educational Health Care Plan, EHC. An education health care plan is for children up to the age of 25 who need more support than is available through the special education needs support. Well, I said I'm going to bring my experience into this. I have a daughter who is now coming up to 20. She's on the autistic spectrum and she has an EH plan. That EH plan is very useful because sometimes you go to school. I'll give another example. When she decided to go to college and she was having problem understanding things, the pace of teaching, I rang the lead at the special of the department and then asked him, what help can you offer my child? The first thing he said, well, you know your child have got special need. Why don't your child look for a job or anything that they can do? There and then I said to him, excuse me, sir, you don't have any right to tell my child what she can do. And the next thing he asked was, has she got an EHC plan? The moment I said yes, things were put in place. So this plan is very important. EHC plan identify not just educational, it identifies health and it identifies special needs such as the social aspect, how they interact out in the community. And it's very crucial when you are actually looking for a school for your child. So the next one is engaging with various communities. This is various agencies. This is very, very important. Mr. Linden touched on it earlier on, and I'm just going to touch on it again. It's very important that you cooperate with school because they want what's best for your child. If the school is wrong by telling you that your child is on the autistic spectrum before you have a diagnosis from your GP, please don't worry. That will be picked up when your child is going through their developmental assessment. I have had occasions when a child has been told they are on the autistic spectrum and they find out that the child actually has hearing problem. So they're a bit deaf, they can't listen, they can't hear, so they can't respond. So don't worry, go through the assessment, and if there's anything that needs to be picked up, it will be picked up, and you'll be rest assured. In this country, it's the child that matters. Everything is all about your child. Okay. Other agencies such as CAMS, Child, Adolescent, Mental, and Health Services are also very important. And their assessments and reports are also taken into consideration when a diagnosis is being made. The other people I want to touch touch is the social services. It's important you engage with them if the school has referred you to them, because if you don't, they might make life difficult for you. Excuse me. Third, the fund and welfare. In addition to your child getting all the necessary benefits, such as child benefits, tax credit, you might also get an enhanced tax credit, because it's important that you look after your child. They know the stress that the child is going through, the child is going through, and that stress is transferred to you. So the government actually gives you extra bit to help alleviate this problem. So the tax credit, can you share that? Yes, it's a bit dark. Yes. So you go to, you apply for tax credits. Obviously, we are all now moving to universal payment, universal credit. So you apply, and if after assessment, if you qualify, you get more. But if you don't qualify, they are always referring people to other agencies where you can get help. There are grants for children with autism. And can you lift it up a bit? I don't know if grants for children. If you go to www.disability-grants for autism, you can see ranges of grants that you can apply to help you and your child, and also alleviate the financial pains you're having at your home. Slide 4, support for parents. Thank you, moderator. You're doing a grand job. Thanks. So support for parents. Obviously, as a parent, it is very, very stressful to have a child with disability. It's not the child's fault. It's not your fault. It's just the way, I'll say God has made that child. And they are a blessing. I can tell you, they are a blessing. Even though at some point you are, you're almost at a breaking point. But there are helps. In Milton Keynes here, there are so much help, because when my child was being diagnosed and assessed and diagnosed, I had a lot of help. Okay, you can go on, if you go on Milton Keynes, that website that is shown there, is a Facebook group. You can join the group, and then you hear other parents talking about the difficulties they've encountered, where you can get help and all other information. Also, you can apply, you can go to Milton Keynes website, and then they can send you, if you go to Milton Keynes website, they will direct you, depending on what you ask there, they will direct you. For example, there's this one, it says, send local offer parent training. These are all parents, these are all websites where parents can have training on how to manage a child with special needs, autistic spectrum disorder. Something I want to say that is very passionate: don't always concentrate on education, academic, for your child. It is very important for them to learn. Please don't say, I'm telling you here, don't let your child learn. No, no, no. It is very important for your child to learn. But at the end of the day, the most important thing for your child is independence. We're all going to leave this earth one day. I'm not saying we're living it now. But when you go, you need to make sure your child is equipped with living as independently as possible, regardless. If you're able to fill forms, they're able to go shopping, they're able to do little things, have a shower, give them the praise. Don't concentrate, oh, you must have this degree, you must have that degree. It doesn't really matter. That does not matter. It is independence, independence, independence. That's what you should be concentrating on. Just bear with me a minute. There is also Carers UK, Milton Keynes. Carers UK, for those of you that don't live in Milton Keynes, I have used Carers UK in Milton Keynes. They actually support you. They tell you all the benefits you can get. They tell you all the groups you can join. They give you training. They actually provide sessions where you can come and have a relaxed time with them. They show you how to sew. So to just to distress you when you're looking after your child. Also, there's another one called Time for Autism. They train parents. They do a lot of things. Okay. And also the last on that section is refer yourself to social services. It's important that you refer yourself to social services, because if you don't, your needs might not be met. I had Mr. Linden say you need to shout for help. I'll give you an example. I have two daughters. One of them is autistic. The other one is an older one. And for years and years, I was struggling until I came to a breaking point. I referred myself to social services and they said, well, I didn't meet the criteria. I called again. I said, I'm struggling here, I'm on my own. They said I didn't meet the criteria. And I said, okay, I'm in the business. I know what goes on. I'll deal with you guys. So I wrote a letter to the head of disability, and I copied the manager, and I was going to copy the prime minister, and I put them on the letter, copy that. And I say, I'm crying out for help and you're not listening to me. And immediately they sent somebody to do an assessment. Somebody came in after the assessment and I was given about 10 hours a week to look after my child. So they come, they take her out, and I spend more time with my other child. Please don't live in silence. Always refer yourself. Always shout. Social services they're not that bad. They are not that bad. They're there to help you. Every child matters. They're there to concentrate to make sure the child is looked after. And when the child is not being looked after, in their eyes, that's when they step in, and that's when it becomes very negative. Okay, the last on that slide is housing. Housing is very important. When your child has been assessed, depending on the disability, they have if they need a bigger house, they will let you know. They always give them the right information. Don't just say, yes, my child needs a house, and you think they're going to give it to you. They will not give it to you. You need to bring all the diagnosis letter, everything, for them to be able to give you appropriate housing. The last slide, I think, moderator, is me time. Me time is very important for anybody looking after a disabled child, if it's your child or you're a carer. Because to be quite honest, to function properly as a parent or a carer, you need to have time for yourself and create opportunity to rest. So take it in turns with your husband to rest and sleep while looking after your child. Go for a walk because it gives you a thinking time by yourself. There are so many parks in Milton Keynes or elsewhere. If you don't live in Milton Keynes, in this country, there are places you can walk around. Get someone you trust to look after your child so you can spend time with your husband. I know housework is very important for people, but sanity comes first. Buy help if you can. Maybe get a cleaner once or twice in a month. And you can pay for that from your child's benefits. Or even if you can't use your child benefit, if you ask for grants, other grants, with the amount of money that comes in, you'll be able to afford that. So what have I spoken to today? Recognize and ask for help. Engage with professionals. There are other benefits for children with special needs. There are supports for parents. And then have me time. Thank you. Please also remember that you would want your child to have as much independence as possible. Therefore, encourage your child to do things for themselves if they can. Empower them to be able to not always be dependent on other people. Thank you. If you have any question, fire on.
I actually like the word fire on. I like that. Well, thank you. That was such a very wonderful presentation, and with all the information that you've given us. And you know what? The word fire on, yes, people are actually firing on right now in the chat. Okay.
That's okay. That's
So
okay.
yeah, so there are tons of questions for you. Okay.
That's all right. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to read out the first one right now, and I'm going to explain it to the best of my knowledge. Maybe has some few things to it. The person wanted to know, actually is from Tracy Caprice. She said, what if the school isn't noticing problem that you are experiencing at home? So let me try to explain this further. Let's say that you as a parent, or maybe someone like a parent, right, they notice that something is wrong with the child at home. And you know what, sometimes at home, right, there might be, maybe there's a problem in the house, and sometimes when there's a problem, especially with little kids, something tends to trigger whatever they're going through. There's a problem. Yeah, if there's a problem at home. But when they're at school with their friends, everything is fine, right? So you as a parent, you're noticing all these things, all the signs and everything at home. But when the child is at school, the teacher is not noticing anything. So now you now take the child to the school and just say, you know what, this is what I noticed at home. And there's gonna be, there's definitely gonna be a dispute between you and the teacher. The teacher was like, this child is fine. I don't see anything wrong with him or her, so why are you now telling me that this is that? So how do you now, what do you do in regards to that?
You need to persevere and write down what is actually happening at home, because children, even adults, know how to disguise things. Home is their comfort. They're comfortable at home. They can do anything at home. But when they're at school, they have boundaries. They have rules and regulations that they have to follow. But you, as their parent, know there's something wrong with your child. Don't just, don't just say, oh, it'll be fine, he's all right at school. Write it down. Anytime there's an episode, anytime you see things different, please write it down and see your doctor. The school will soon pick it up. They pretend, and if they don't pretend for too long, the school will pick it up. Okay.
Well, all right, thank you so much for that. And I hope, Tracy, I hope you're there, and I hope you heard the answer. Is that right? Is Tracy there? I'm pretty sure she heard it. All right, now the next question is from Amarachi Egosh. The person is saying that it's like the support schemes are only for the people in the UK. Do we have such schemes in Nigeria? Because some of us are outside of UK, and you know how it is in Nigeria. So how do they get support if they're outside of the UK?
I'm sorry on this. I won't be able to give you a direct answer. The reason being, I'm in UK here, and I know the support system that applies to children with autism. However, groups like Pleo are trying so much to provide some kind of support way back home. In Africa, there should be support for this, but we don't. You know how it is?
I know.
It's not always the case. So people in this country that has got organizations such as Pleo are trying so hard to make sure things happen in Nigeria. Unfortunately, at this stage, I can't say there is one school or one agency in Nigeria, apart from these agencies that we're setting up in England here to help.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that. I hope the person that asked the question heard that. The thing is, I mean, she can provide any answer to anywhere that is outside of the UK, but that's why Ambassador Lady Chioma, that's where she comes in, and definitely she can't do this by herself. She definitely needs the support of other people, and if she can get the support, then definitely this is going to be spread. Even though it might be in the UK right now, it's going to be spread all over the world if she can get enough support from each and every one of us. So thank you so much, Ms. Payne, for the information and everything. And also now, if anyone have any question, and Tracy said thank you for the answer. Satisfied. Yeah. So if there's any other question, I'm pretty sure Ms. Queen, she's ready now. She's ready to provide us with answers. So any questions? Any questions from anyone? Like I said, you're welcome to type it on the chat if you don't want to maybe raise your hands or ask or something like that. Any other questions? Let me see. Oh, well, someone also said that, yeah, the help is everywhere. You just have to search and be informed. So I hope that answered the person.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Sister Buki.
Yes, ma'am.
Someone is raising their hand. Ambassador Lola Olukotu.
Okay. Let me. This thing is making this echo sound again. Okay, who is the person? I'm trying to look for the name of the person. Ambassador Lola, where is she?
Is
I'm right. Sorry, I'm not raising my
I'm
hands.
not raising my
I
hand.
just commented beneath the question that was asked. I'm not raising my hands.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, that's fine then. That's fine. Okay, yeah, I was just trying to see if there's any other question. Well, any other question from anyone before we go to the next program we have? Any question? I'm trying to look and see if there's
Queen
any.
is raising her.
Okay, yeah, Queen, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
Yeah, I'm calling from my kitchen.
Yeah, that's
I'm
okay.
not asking a question, but I just want to contribute to what you said, my sister. We Africans, especially Nigerians, we have problem. I'm a Nigerian myself. My name is
Good.
Queen. And I work in school. That's why I'm trying to say something here. We have a particular problem because we try to compare our children to other children.
Yeah.
And that is very, very bad.
Mm-hmm.
Please, I'm begging every mother, do not depend on your husband or your dad. You are the dad, and this and that. No, you have to carry out your duty as a mother. You have a duty of care towards your children. Because most often, we mothers, we see things that our husbands cannot see because we are more closer to our children than they are.
You're right.
So when there is a problem, if you are able to observe, that is when you're closer to the child, if you are able to observe anything about your child, could you please go to the school and talk to your key person? If you cannot talk to the manager, talk to your key person, because every child has a key person. And this key person is in direct communication with you. Talk to your key person. If your key person is not doing anything about the matter, it is then you talk to the manager. But I'm very sure your key person will do something about it. But whereby no, talk to the manager. Then that apart, every child is an individual. Okay? Even within the school, within the classroom, we have stage of development. And in that stage of development, children develop differently. They don't develop the same way. The age could be the same, but their development differs from each other because they are an individual and they are being treated according to whom they are. They could be 3 years old children, but they behave differently because they are different individuals. They are being respected for whom they are, and they are being treated. We make like next step according to their age of development. And if a child has a problem, as a teacher, you write reports, you involve the parents to know about it, and you call for a meeting. Most often, our Black people will not come for those meetings.
I know.
That's right.
Don't you go back home? Don't you go back home to call your friend? Oh, could you imagine what that teacher was saying? My daughter is this, my son is this. That wouldn't help you, please. It's for the interest of that child, I beg you. For the interest of that child, you have grown, you have achieved what you want to achieve in life. But that little child is just coming up. It's an angel. Could you please give that child the opportunity to grow and to have the help that is needed? I beg you. So this is what I want to contribute. Thank you very much.
My sister. Thank you, my sister.
Thank you so
Well
much,
said.
Queen.
Well said. Exactly. Your child is an individual and it's all about your child. Don't try and get your child to have the degree that you didn't have.
Yes.
Or become a doctor that you didn't become. Please, please listen to your gut instincts and make sure that child is all right. Please, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Queen. And thank both of you are even Queen.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
That's really good. Thank you so much for the information. You're on me. You're saying something. I think the other Queen was saying something. Yeah.
No,
I was just saying, I said, thank you very much. It's really a pleasure to give me the opportunity to air out my views.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And we do take, personally, I did take down some points in what you just said, you understand? Because one thing about African parents is we tend not to be observant of what is going on among our children. And also we do comparison, but by comparison by saying, okay, the first child is this and that, the first child doesn't have this, but we have to know that children are different and they also grow differently, you understand? So because your first child didn't have something doesn't mean the second one will not. So we need to be observant and we need to listen to our children, okay? So that's what I think I got from that. So thank you so very much. So any other question? I think Antonia Ukashi, she's raising her hand. Do you have any question, Antonia?
Good afternoon, all.
Good afternoon.
It's just simply an addition to what has been said so far. And Queen, well done. Both queens, shall I say, well done. You both have done extremely well and spoke extremely well, and it's well understood. However, I just want to more or less throw a small curveball in the midst, and this is for single mothers as well. It's important to know your child. Nobody from outside should be able to know more about your child than you should. And like the first and second queen said, your child is your primary most important. It's down to you to fight for that child's well-being. If you noticed anything whatsoever, it's important that you go to the school. Do not relent until you get some answers. If you see or feel that there's something to ought, it's down to you. It's your responsibility, not the responsibility of the teacher, the establishment, but rather yours to make sure that the help, the need that your child needs to be a better person, to be, what can one say? What's the right word to use? To be a good candidate for the next stage in life is down to you. Fight for your child. Your child deserves your best. Your child deserves the best you can give that child. Your child deserves, if they say, Mommy, do you know what? In school today, my teacher thought my hair was a bit off color. Don't just fob it off and don't just laugh about it. Go and see the teacher. Why do you think my child's hair is a bit off color? Let your child see you fighting for them. And then that will make them more comfortable to come and share things with you. Know your child so that your child can feel comfortable to tell you things they would not normally tell you. That's just my little input. Good afternoon, all.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for that, Antonia. I really appreciate your input. Thank you so much. I think I do have another question. It's from Tracy again. She said, what do you do while you're waiting on waiting list for support? So now that question is from Miss Queen. What do you do while you know how the long waiting list is, you understand? So while you're waiting for support from maybe the NHS or so, from other support, what do you do?
Once you've been referred for assessment, it takes about 6 to a year to get assessed.
Wow.
This is just basic assessment. So you might see somebody in January. The next time you get a call back, it's probably in June or July. But with this pandemic, it's longer. So during that time, and as you know, we are all on well, I won't say we're on lockdown. We're all using COVID as an excuse and using Zoom. Before you will go and have a meeting place, but now everybody meets online. So if you go online, go to the school and ask if there is any group that is running to help with support group. They will give you list. Wherever you are in UK, there is a list of groups that help with support while you're going through assessments. Things you need to do, information you need to gather, who you need to see, they're all there for you. So you're not on your own.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Queen. I hope Tracy got that information. Am I right on that? Okay. All right, I think she got it anyway. Well, thank you so much for that information. Right now, before we get on the third speaker, we're just gonna take a break, and I'm gonna be calling on the grandson of Pleo to do a performance for us, and she's signed under Otis record, so she is going to perform for us right now. Okay, so is the grandson of Pleo here? Is he here? Or if there's still
Yeah.
any question, because I'm so sorry. Can you hold on 1 second? Hold that thought for 1 second. If there's still any question from Miss Queen, because that is very, very important. You can just go ahead and type it over on the chat. You know, if you have any questions, you know, just type it. And
also
yes.
they can send the chief executive the list of questions, and I'll be happy to assist.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I hope you all heard that. Okay. All right. So yeah. All right now. So the grandson of Pleo, can you get on and take over for your wonderful performance? Go ahead.
Play. Yeah, play.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Ghosty, and fortunately, I'm the grandson of Ejike Oti, and I'm signed on out this record. And I just want to make a performance, a live performance. Just want to do one song. The song is titled Good Time. I just want you guys to believe there's good time always coming, anything that happens. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Gussie, for that. But you know what? You're going to have to perform again because I would like to see you get up and dance. Actually, someone was actually dancing. Deborah was actually dancing. So I want you to get up and dance, even if it's going to be for 2 minutes. So I want you to dancing on the chair is not that. Actually, I wanted to start getting my groove on, but when I saw you sitting down, I'm like, oh, let me just relax, you know. So now I want you to just for 2 minutes get up and dance for us. Can you do that? Okay. Yeah. Now let's hear the music again. Let's hear the music again. Go ahead. Let's see what you got. I would like to see your moves. Okay, that's it. Yeah. Beautiful. I think your connection is really not so good, but we're still enjoying the music though. We're still enjoying it. Let me see if you can still come back. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Goldie. Thank you, wonderful performance by you. Thank you so much. Let me ask you a few questions. What was the motive behind the song? What made you to compose the song? Can you hear me? I think your video is just going in and out. The connection is kind of bad. Can you hear me though? I think it's frozen or something. Okay, I think we might have to get back to him. But that was a very wonderful performance. Yes. All right, are you back now? Yeah, your connection was going in and out.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you now.
I can hear you. Yeah. You see how you got up and got your groove on? I like that. You see, yeah. Yeah, so go ahead. What was the motive behind you? Because I just like the way you put in the English and also the Yoruba. You kind of like merge everything together. It makes it sound so good. But I want to know, what is the motive behind you composing the song? And also, you know, what makes you to put your pen down and just be like, I want to sing that, I want to write this song?
Yeah, due to the problems and situations we face in these days in life. So most times, many people lose hope. They believe that, whatever they're facing, the challenges they're facing, is going to kill them, is going to lay them down, is going to tune them down. But we just have to pray that, yeah, we know that good times is coming. There's always going to be good times. There's always going to be bad times. There's going to be good times. So we just pray that, yeah, let's just believe that, yes, there's going to be good times. Good times is definitely going to come.
Amen.
So that's just what it's all about. Just about good times. Keep
Amen.
praying for the, yeah.
Amen. Thank you so much, Guilty. At least you gave us a assurance that no matter what we're facing right now, there's a bright light at the end of the tunnel. There's gonna be a good time. I really like that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Can we all please give Guilty a round of applause, please? Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, now, so let's back on. I hope you are all refreshed and also we're inspired by the song, the great performance by Gulsi. So right now I'm going to call on that third speaker. She is Mrs. Shade Fadipe. She's an education consultant. And also she will relate her educational experience to Pleo and provide us tips on how you can help a child who has disability. So Mrs. Shade Fadipe, are you on right now? So you can take your spot and yeah, and just speak to us. Let me see if Mrs. Shade Fadipe is on. If you're on, just scream or whatever you can do.
I'm here.
Okay, cool. All right, go ahead. The floor is all yours.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. What an amazing audience you've been. Everyone that's spoken, that's contributed to this event so far has increased me as a person, has added knowledge to me. And thank you ever so much. And thank you, Lady Chairman, for inviting me. And this particular event is quite different from any that I have done. And so it challenged me to think beyond the topic, especially because I thought that the aspect of me being an educationist, but also talking to families, probably with families, not so much as children, would be one that I could merge and just give a rounded perspective of what I think can help improve the lives of people, either as adults living with a disability or children with a disability, or just the whole family put together. And so my perspective is going to be slightly different. I'm not going to talk about grants because you've been fed with that information already. I'm not going to talk about it from the health sector perspective because that's also been dealt with. I am going to talk about a topic close to my heart, especially within our community as Black Africans, ethnic minority communities. And so I'm going to share some slides. The slides in themselves are a bit boring, but don't worry about that. We'll get through very quickly. And if you can permit me to share my slides. Before I do that, I'd like to also say that I am a children's book author. And I have been teaching in the United Kingdom since 1993. Do tell me I don't look my age. And so what I bring to you today is probably a wealth of experience within the education sector, but also just the fact that as a children's book author, I think I can kind of convince you to have take a different perspective to how you can improve on your lives within the home, things that you can do within your home, and why, how you can relate to a different way of life, a chance of a better life, which is the topic. So before I start, I'd like to read something really quickly, and I will try to keep to time. Okay, so I'm going to read from a book that I published last year, and it's called Snowy Joy. Leave me alone. Like skaters on thin ice, the aeroplane glided smoothly off the runway. It rocketed towards dark, stormy clouds. The higher the aeroplane soared, the stormier the weather became. The heavy downpour drummed harshly against the aeroplane's frame, and its wings shivered with an unusual frenzy, as if it had caught a cold. Adana was terrified by the storm's battering attacks against the aeroplane. Still, it surged on with bravery. Suddenly, Adana shuddered. For some strange reason, the storm reminded her of school. It made her think about kids in her class that picked on her way too often. Reporting them to the teachers hadn't stopped them. It had only made things worse. They called her a grass. They sometimes picked on her outside of school. If only I could be brave and strong-minded, she muttered. Being the youngest, the tiniest, and having the weirdest of accents in her class was no fun at all. Adana's many travels around the globe had watered down the bouncy Nigerian English accent she once had, while her small build had to do with her genes, nothing she could change. If only they'd leave me alone, she sighed. Adana hoped she would one day be brave enough to shake off her worries and care less about the teases, just as their aeroplane cared less about the storm around it. Needing to be comforted, she turned to her grandmother, her rock. And I should stop there. And hopefully, that has taken you on a bit of a journey. Hopefully, you've been able to relate to something that I can't share with you. Only you can share. You know what experiences you've had. And so you may be able to relate to that. Or it could be any other book that you can pick up and you can relate to. And that could either trigger memories or it could take you onto a completely different journey altogether. So I'm sure you guessed what I'm going to be talking about. Books. So if you permit me to share my slides, I would try to do that. Let's see if I have the ability to. Yes, I can. Thank you very much. Okay, so welcome everybody. Yes, we're here to talk about improving the life chances of disabled families in, with us, people we live with, probably within the UK and even in Nigeria. So maybe what I'm going to share with you is something that cuts across boundaries irrespective. And so let me go on to slideshow, not be here from stuff. Yes, okay, that's better. So did you know that every day more than 1.8 million books are sold in the US? And accordingly, here in the UK, half that amount, getting to half of it, sold here in the UK. And despite all the other distractions of the mobile phone, the internet, the Netflix, people still love reading. But research has shown that ethnic minority families tend to rely heavily on factual books for the purpose of academic enhancement. Now, I was so happy with one of the queens, the second queen that came, when she talked about how we need to kind of think about the child as a whole person rather than focus so heavily on academic success. Because truth be told, some of our children will struggle with reading. Some of our children will struggle with communication. But we have to find ways of making the literary experience accessible to them. So, and the truth really is that we have very few fiction books in our homes. If I say, let's go and take 3-4 minutes to go and bring out all the fiction books that you have within your home, not the textbooks, not the fact-finding books, not the factual books, but fiction books. Let's see how many you can come up with. Or if I say, write in the chat box, how many fiction books, how many fiction authors do your children like? Have they read? Even yourselves, how many fiction authors do you like reading? Or have you read in the last 1 year? Thank goodness for COVID. I'm sure a lot of you have done a lot of reading during the COVID season. But until then, until we were paused, how much reading did we conscious of the effect that reading has, or were we just reading for the sake of reading? So what is in a book? Should we ignore books because we have a particular form of disability, whether it be that of a sight disability, a physical, a movement disability, an impairment? Should we still ignore books? And can books improve the lives of families living with a disability? If so, how? How can books help us? We already know that books teach us about the world. We know that books improve our vocabulary. We know that books support our writing skills, but there's also more to it, especially when we look at this perspective of having some form of limitation. So can fiction books improve our lives, irrespective of our disabilities? Let's look at the features of a fiction book. So when I read this book, there are features to every fiction book. Every fiction book. Every fiction book would have characters within those stories, and those characters hook us if we like the writing style. If from the moment we pick up that book, we become one with those characters, or if there are many characters, we become an analyst of all those characters. So Aristotle said that when we watch a tragedy, for instance, that of pity and that of fear, we also feel for the character. So our emotions become involved with the character. We've not left our homes, but we're already engaging with someone. We're going on a journey. So without noticing it, we can imagine what it's like to be that character or one of the other characters, either the antagonist or the protagonist. And we can also compare their reactions to situations to how we respond now and how we could respond in the future. So in a way, as we go on journeys with characters, we're learning how we behave. We're learning how other people behave, and we are making choices. We're making choices along the way. We also have a plot within every fiction book. So the plot is simply what happens in the story and the order of the story's events. Sometimes we have flashbacks, and that is when there's a twist in the story. Sometimes we have flashbacks and then we have flash forwards. Sometimes stories start at the end of the story. You get within the first chapter, you get the end of a story, and that creates suspense because you want to know what brought about what brought that character or that scene to that place. So without noticing it, we're taking part in journeys and comparing their reactions to situations, and we're reflecting on how we respond now and how we respond in the future. So even in our state of whatever it is that is our disability, we're able to go on journeys with books. Who doesn't want to go on a journey? Who, just engaging with books takes us on different forms of journeys. There are themes within stories. So one of the themes that you may have picked up when I read that chapter would have been the theme about bullying. And that in itself creates conversations. So you brought up a theme within a book, and then it could even lead to you finding out what's going on in your children's schools, finding out what's going on in the classroom. And so this, for me, is one of the strongest ways in which we can engage our children in conversations. One of the speakers said earlier on is that sometimes our kids don't even tell us what's going on in their lives away from home. But through a story, through a book, through, they could find the boldness or the courage. They could relate to things. Oh, that happened to me. And then you can press in to find out more information. So themes in stories are what the authors are trying to convey through the characters or the events of the stories. So we also, without noticing it, we can learn about themes within stories. We can learn about how these themes affect our own lives. So if a child is being bullied at school, what have you said to your child? How is your child going to cope with the next day? How are you going to go? So what happened within the books that you've just read? How was it resolved? How can you resolve your own issues? So they give us different perspectives to life. You may not agree with how a particular issue has been resolved, but at least you've read about somebody else's experience and you've taken that extra knowledge on board. A moral, a moral teaches. So this is a lesson that the writer wants the main character, the person within the book that's being addressed within the book, to learn from the actual story. We can learn from this as well, and we can use morals to tell children, you know, this is what happens when you engage in this behavior. This is what happened when the tortoise fell asleep. This is what happened when the snail did this and that. And then you can relate animal stories even to real life situations. It's funny, there was yesterday, there's a personal experience now. Yesterday, there was a video that went round, and much as I didn't like that the little boy, I think he must have been about a year and a half, much even though I didn't like the fact that he wasn't wearing a pants, you know, he was carrying, I think it was a yam or something, a piece of yam, all the way from, you know, one end of his village to the other. I don't know if anyone saw it. And the perseverance with which he picked up that piece of yam, or was it a log of wood? It may have been a log of wood. And he just kept picking it up, picking it up and dropping it till he got home, finally got home. And just as I watched that video, my cheeky daughter had sent me a message, said, "Mom, can you bring me some grapes, please?" And so I sent the video to her. I said, "You need to watch this." And that, for me, that was a resource that I used to help her realize that you're taking the mickey here. So we can use content, that in itself is a story. We can use content to relate to our personal experiences. But also, what I like about morals, so stories with a morale, is that we can learn about other people's cultures. What may attain in your country of residence may not be what is acceptable in other countries. So we can learn about cultures, we can learn, about food, we can learn about different aspects of people's lives, with books. Books generally just take us on journeys. Now, access to books for all families. You just need to step into your local library and inform them that you have a form of disability, and as such, you would need access to reading material. If we don't ask, we don't get. I think this is the one thing that I've heard throughout this seminar today. If you don't ask, you don't get. And if you don't, if you don't know what is available, you wouldn't get it. Access to books through your local library would not be denied you. There may even be, I don't know what it's like in Milton Keynes, but I'm in Essex and we have deliveries. The books will be brought to your home. We have access to audio books, we have access to physical books, we have access to ebooks, so there's not, I don't think, even we have access to Braille books. I don't think that in terms of reading as an engagement is something that we can't all experience. Can you give me in the chat box, can you just say, yes, we've explored reading in our environment, and yes, we are able to access books, and we have used our local library. I'd like to see in the chat, have you used your local library? Do you get access? Do books get delivered to you? Or do you think you have to buy the books? The truth is, no, you don't have to buy books if you don't want to own the book, but you can always send an email or through your library card, ask for books. You can always do that and they will get sent home to you. So how do we choose books? depending on our limitations, you want to choose books that use accessible language. I'm going to show you. So I've got quite a number of books here, and I'm going to show you a particular. So this one, and I'm actually going to be showing you books from, where is it? Showing you books from indigenous books, basically. So for instance, we want to access books that have less writing, probably more visual, depending on the limitations that you have. I don't know if okay, so depending on the limitations that we have. So this one is by Taya Fatunla. And on every page, even though it's an adult book, there is an illustration on every single page, even though it's an adult scripted book. Those kind of books might be useful because, you know, you don't really want to stress yourself with graphics is good for everybody. This is another good book. It's actually it's a factual book, but, you know, it's about I'll tell you what I learned from this one. This is about using our natural vegetables and adding them into smoothies like ewedu and things like that, and adding them to smoothies. That's a really good book. This is one, sorry, I'm not mentioning, I didn't mention this is by Yetunde Odebi. This is for people that like factual books, learning books. This is a book about entrepreneurship, and this is also by a Nigerian called Bibi Clement. What else do we have? I'm going to show you this one. This is a children's book, and this came out just before the pandemic. Who knew about this? Who knew about this? And it's called Why Do We Wash Our Hands? It's both, and it's in Igbo, it's in Yoruba, and it's in Hausa and in English as well. So there's the English version at the back. No one has paid me. I'm just trying to give you, just trying to introduce you to books around the world that our people have written, and so that you can start to engage in more reading material within your cultural heritage. And this is another book on creativity. That's a book on creativity, and that's by Izehi Anuge. Beautiful books we've got out there in the market from our, from within our people. This is by Carol Nelson. Lots of beautiful books out there. This teaches the children about people like Nelson Mandela, Marcus Garvey. Some beautiful books. The first scientist, first Afro-Caribbean scientist. This is my book. I'm not going to sell it because, hey, it's one of the books that have won an award in the USA, a fun ABC book called A Visit to Grandad in the United States of America, and more. You can access these books from your library if you ask, but if you don't ask, then, and you don't get. Lots of ebooks that can be accessed, audiobooks, braille books. The other thing that's important is that you read with your child, and that's why you've got that bullet point. Use the pace of the person you're reading to or with. Reading to your children at a certain age is very important, and once they get to that reading age where they feel a bit more comfortable, they can read back to you. But if they can't read, you've got the audiobooks that they can access. If they're learning to read, you've got the audiobooks. You just have to try anything that works. Let them know that there are books available for them to either listen to or to read, or to, or to handle, even if it's just the handling of books and looking at the pictures, just looking at I remember being a young child and I couldn't read, but I'd stare at the pictures over and over and over again, that on its own is education. And also after reading, check that they have understood what they've read, ask questions and be creative with the questions. And that last point there is contact your local library. You will be amazed at the help that they have available for you. And I think I've reached my last slide. Yes, for further help on reading and literacy development, you may contact me. That's my email address. I started teaching, my education career, as I said, in 1993. I taught in schools in Southeast London, where I met Mama Lily. She was my mentor. And moved to Reading, where I taught for a number of years. Moved to Nigeria, where I did a reading program with the federal government of Nigeria. And my complaint to the government was that we lacked books for young children. We had Easy Goes to School and all that, but when it came to the pre-primary, there was absolutely nothing. And I had a lot of money to spend in books, but I had to buy foreign books on their behalf. But since then, the children's book industry in Nigeria has catapulted. So beyond what I may have shown you today, there are thousands of books that you can access with Nigerian content, with Afro-Caribbean content that would help you, because identity is an important thing. You know, I remember the first time I had a chunk of money and I had to buy Goldilocks and the Three Bears for children who had never been out of the country. And for me, that was painful. And so it's important that we keep our heritage alive, expose our children to books. That's part of, if they, especially if they have limitations already, the heritage and their identity is the one thing you want to keep intact. So that's the end of my speech, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for having me.
Wow, thank you so much, Mrs. Shadi Fadipe. That was just so inspiring. And reading, especially to kids, is just very, very good, because one is going to improve their vocab, and number two is going to help them to think more. So it's just, you're just giving us enough information, more than enough information, and I really like that. And when you were asking for if people have access to the library, I can see some chat going on here that we borrow books from the library, we buy from the charity shops, even the library sells. I love books, and I'm trying to instill that love in my kid. So and the person said it's a bit of struggle for them. You understand, when you want to if you don't want to instill how to read into kids, sometimes that can be a struggle. So I can relate to the person right there. And some said I use Kindle, and our library is closed due to COVID. Please, could we have a list of these cultural books? I'm based in Lincolnshire. Very few Blacks and minority there. So they want you to provide them with a list of how they can get cultural books. So I don't know if you can provide that information on the chat, so the person asking can get access to that. Yeah, so thank you so much for that. And do we have any question for Mrs. Shadi Fadipe on reading for kids, and also how we can help ourselves by reading as well? Do we have any question? Any question? Okay, all right. Well, before I call on my next speaker, I just want to share the website of Pleo to everyone, just in case you want to support one Ambassador Lady Chioma, what she's doing, because even though it might be little, whatever help that you can, even if it's just moral support that you can give her in what she's doing, because she is doing an extremely well in this in this organization. And you can do things on your own sometimes. You need the help of other people. Let me go back. I think I see some messages coming in. Someone said great section, and they're talking about Mrs. Shadi Fadipe, that the section was very great, so they are really like commending you on that. So let me go back. So if you want to support her, I'm going to be sharing our website information with each and every one on how you can, go on the website and support. And if you want to donate as well, you can just give her a phone call, which I'm pretty sure she'll be, ready to pick up the phone, and also if you want to support her in any way. And I believe you can do that. So let me quickly share the website for each and every one of us, so we can see the website right now. So if you need more information in regards to what she does, you can just go on the website. I'm going to be typing in the name of the website on the chat, so we can all see. Let me know if everyone can see my screen right now. This is our website right here. Okay, so this is our website. This is you can go to the About Us page to see more information on what she does. And yeah, that's it. So the aims and objective is right there, and what she's done so far. We can all see that, and also everything that she's done so far, and all the information is there. And like I said, you can't do, no matter what you're doing, you can't do it all by yourself. You can't do it on your own. You will need the support of other people. So if you like to sponsor, if you like to donate, whatever it is you want to do, you know, you can just go on our website, you can call her, and these are some of the pictures. So I'm going to go ahead and just type in the name of the website on the chat so everyone can see that. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And also I'm going to be calling on our fourth speaker right now. And the first speaker, okay, any question for Mrs. Shade Fadikwe so far before I proceed? Does someone just say wonderful section? Can we please ask the last speaker to send out a list of the books? Mrs. Shade Fadikwe, someone said if you can send them the list of books that they will be glad, maybe books that they can read to their children, or maybe books that they can read by themselves. And I also saw Okafor when Mrs. Shade was, when she was doing that presentation, she was showing us a library, like a shelf that she has a book display. So I can see that she has like lots and lots of books on that shelf. So that is really good. So Ms. Shade, if you can, you know, maybe share information on how people can, you know, get books or list of books that they can get. Okay, did you see the comment, Ms. Shade Fadipe?
I did. Thank you ever so much. Yes, I'm just reading through. Thank you so much. Okay, fantastic. Great. I'm going to, I've put my email in the chat. I'm going to collate a list, but I'm also going to put information about a festival coming up. It's called the Akada Children's Book Festival. I'm just going to look for the link now and put that. It's free. It is free. There will be probably about 50 ethnic minority authors there. You know, it's free, and it's from the 1st to the 3rd of July. And it's for ages, I think, probably 3 to 33, you know, whatever. Enjoy. Adults can enjoy children's books too.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I'm just sharing the information for Pleo. Right there, you can go on their websites and send them a message, or you can, there's a phone number there that you can call just in case you want to support, or maybe you just want to help one way or the other. All right. So thank you so much, everyone, and thank you so much, Mrs. Shade Fadipe, for that presentation. We really enjoyed that. So now back to my first speaker. My first speaker is Miss Rodar Abdullahi, and she's the chairperson of Africa Diaspora Foundation in Milton Keynes, and she is going to be talking about other activities in relation to the topic that we're talking about today, and she will tell us more about our organization and how she can work, or how we can work with Pleo to help families. So I'm gonna call on Miss Ruda right now. If I'm not pronouncing your name well, just pardon me. And when you come on, just try to just like spell it out, or just try to pronounce it yourself, okay? So Miss Ruda, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, how are you? Can you just say your name, please? Because I'm not so sure if I pronounce it right.
It's all right. It's Ruda Abdullahi.
Okay, Abdullahi. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Beautiful name, beautiful names. Yeah, okay, yeah. So you can go ahead now and do your presentation.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, my name is Ruda Abdullahi. I'm actually originally from Somalia, but I grew up in Holland, and I did biomedical science. And I just moved in Milton Keynes 6 years ago. And when I moved in Milton Keynes, I saw limitations that we had from when it comes to the culture and heritage. And that was my passion. And also someone who's involved with education. So I teach science, and I want to talk about a little bit about what was actually the motivation behind the African Diaspora Foundation, that we have set it up. And that was actually more about what the previous speaker have said, you know, that grieving the identity and want to know about more, and having the limitation, not being able to go back to the country where you're from, unfortunately. And although I was born in Somalia, I have not been able to go back since 1991. And that was actually because there is a civil war there, and that feeling, or I can understand when people say not being able to do something or being disabled or not doing something. So not being able to go back and having access and has actually inspired many of other people that I related with, and to set up this organization. And what we try to do, and the aim of the objectives of the organization, is to bring the African communities and our young people together and unite and absolutely celebrate our culture and heritage. And that was the main reason, because we all felt like we are not represented well enough, and our young children are not related with their culture. When they hear about more about things that are related with an African background, is more about the negative side, and they don't see the light and the rich culture and the colorful and the, you know, the discoveries and all of that. They don't see it. So organizing a festival and having a place to come together will actually create a platform where you can, for example, meet people like Sade was talking about, you know, the authors that have written books, and those people can come out and share those knowledges when our people come together. So that was actually the main reason that we thought we need this. And when I spoke to one of the founders, of co-founder of the organization, PLO, and I was actually trying to engage, because me being as a Somali, I know that my community is not an easy community to actually access a lot of support that is there when it comes to the disabled and having a disabled young child at home. And recently, I have actually realized that there is, when it comes to the Somali people, the autistic children is actually very high compared to all the ethnic minorities. And yet you don't see, there are so many studies that are actually started to find out why is it that these families, why is it from this community that there is so many autistic young children, and regardless the age of the parents, it doesn't matter, but the number was very high. And they are trying to find the reason. And yet what I have realized is that these families don't access the support that are there. They don't engage with the other ones. And it's more like, I don't know how I can actually explain to it. It's more like you will not see them in a places or in activities or things that are organized. It's more like after the school, they are at home, and there is a pressure from the family or the children, and hiding them more than coming out and accessing the support that is there. And it is for us very important as an African diaspora organization to find, and if anyone asks me from my community, it says, I will need a help, and I don't know someone who can help me with my problems because I have an autistic child or I have a disabled child, then I found it so easy to link with the PLO. And I'm so proud that we have an organization from African background that we can actually say, okay, you can go to them, they can maybe refer you, they can help you, and they can actually, because you have that trust when someone is actually, you know, they are from same background, you want to give them to these people because they trust you and you don't want them to let down. And because we know the work that PLO is doing is actually empowering our disabled families and supporting them, it's so easy for us to link with them and forward and refer the kids and tell them, okay, if there is any activities happening, we're happy to send you to, so that they can actually support you and guide you wherever you need. But when it comes to the African Diaspora Foundation, we always try to include the activities that we do, the disabled families so that they can actually be part of. And one of the activities, the main activity that we have this year coming after 4 weeks, I think 3rd of July, is going to be African Diaspora Festival, which takes place in the Campo Park. And that festival is actually everything that we do at that festival, we keep in consideration that those families can actually access these activities and they can come and enjoy the day. But sad enough, we don't see many of these families coming to the festival. And even though when it comes to the toilets, we have to take into consideration to, if any one of these family comes when it comes to the parking, but we don't see many of these people coming. So one of the things that I would like to see is with the organization like this, that actually the families that they support, if they would actually take them to the festival or to enjoy themselves. It's actually a free event and everyone can enjoy, and it's a local, it's a Mountain Kings. So that would be a wonderful, that is actually the reason why I was invited to tell more about how we can actually support each other and support the families that actually need. And that was actually most of the part that I actually want to share. I hope actually the moderator are able to share the flyer of the festival as well that I have sent. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't. If you have the flyers, you can just maybe send it to Lady Chioma so I can share it on the screen. But I'm just writing the events on the chat right now. But I don't have the date. But I put in the month, which is going to be in July. Am I right on that?
Yeah, it's the 3rd of July. I have
3rd
sent
of July.
you.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I
Yeah.
have sent you to share the event. Yeah. So yeah, the event is for everyone, but we always take into consideration to bring those families that actually would like to enjoy the culture and the heritage of the African background, and is most welcome to come to visit the event. It's a safe event. It is an event that is allowing them to access, and in terms of whether you have a wheelchair or you have, so there is a lot happening that the kids can actually enjoy in the family. So that is it from my side. And
Thank you so much, Ruda, for that. Thank you. Any question for Ruda? Any question? Okay. Well, thank you so much for the for sharing the information with us as well. So that will be 3rd of July. If anyone is free, it's gonna be a free and safe event. So it's gonna be in Milton Keynes as well. So everyone it's open to anyone. So if you are available, you can just go and see what the event is all about. Okay. All right now. So we are gonna be wrapping up very soon. It's been a wonderful section so far. So, but now let me just go to in the absence of no question. Let me just confirm it. There's no question for Ruda right now, or do we have any question? Any question? Okay, all right, now no question. So we're just gonna go ahead now, and I'm gonna call on Lady Hope Bobby. She's going to give us a closing remark right now. And yeah, she's just gonna, talk about the section so far, how successful it has been. And yeah, so I'm gonna call on Lady Bobby right now. And after that, please don't leave here because we're going to be taking a Zoom photo shoots. So you gotta make sure that you have your video on mute. Make sure you don't mute your video so we can take a quick photo shoot. Okay, yeah, this is the flyer for the event. So let me just do a screenshot of that. That's the flyer for the event. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. So this is, I love the flyer, it's really nice. So all the information is there, the phone number is there, and yeah, the location, everything. I hope everyone got that, even though we're going to be doing a screenshot and we're going to have it posted on Facebook, but I just, you can just write out any details that you want to write down right now. Thank you so much for sharing this. Thank you. Thank you so much. And if you have any question in regards to the flyer as well, she's ready, Miss Ruda, she's ready now to answer the question as well. So any question? Okay, all right, well, you can stop sharing your screen now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, thank you. So now I'm gonna call on Lady Hope Bobby right now to give us a closing remark.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Buki.
Hello, how
well
you
done.
doing?
You're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful commentator you are. And the music from, what's her name?
Lottie and also
Lottie?
Lola.
Lola.
And Lola, yeah.
Lola, that was fantastic, Boku. Very enjoyable. And lovely artists from Wisdom also. We enjoy that. Good rapper. I just want to thank everyone that's participated in our group today. Our speakers, a big round of applause to all of them. It was an amazing insight, information, something that we don't often grasp hold of, like Rhoda was saying earlier on, Lady Sade. You all nailed it at the board there. And the two queens, well done. We very much appreciate your comments. We Africans, as we say, as a whole, we tend to compare, and it's truly, truly not what we are here for. The kids are main focus, what is best for them. And I truly want to thank everyone, Miss Lady Sade, for your input, Mr. Ledin, for your input. We have Lady Queen and the other Queen also. And Rhoda, thank you very much. We appreciate your presence here. The information is well packed. And I hope everyone who has attended have taken something from this presentation that we put together. Thank you all for attending. We have a good turnout and we're very proud. We're very grateful for that. Thank you all again. And also we're talking about photo shoot. I don't know how that works. So I'm not an IT person. So everybody should be ready to take a photo shot for the group. And we appreciate that. You have to tell me what to do because I don't know how to take a photo.
Oh, definitely, I will.
Yes, I appreciate everybody. Also, I'm Reverend Ambassador David Wiwu from Milton Keynes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Oh, we appreciate you, your presence.
Thank you.
Also, we want to talk about hopefully, by God's grace, we'll be able to hold a convention next year. After hopefully this COVID pandemic has died down, we are hoping to do an annual convention next year, face to face, where we all come together in a place where we can see each other. Yes. This is also, the virtual thing is also nice and good, but it's nothing beats that face to face connection. So hopefully by God's grace, we will have that and we let you all know the date and time. So thank you once again to our Shell Lady, Ambassador Shioma. We all appreciate you. Well done and well done. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. And to all the speakers, I would like to say a very big thank you to all of you. I'm going to go ahead and mention the first one. The first speaker is Mr. Lyndon Matikiti. Thank you so much. And also the second speaker, Miss Queen Irohaya. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh God, the heckle thing. Yeah, and our third speaker, Mrs. Shade Fadipe, thank you so much. And also our Ruder Abdullahi, thank you so much for all the inputs and everything. Thank you also for your time, because I know it's the weekend and everything like that, and we should all be rested, but look at where we are today. But like for me personally, I've gotten enough information, you know, so, and thank you so much, Humor, for creating the awareness and for what you're doing. I just pray that God will continue to give you all the resources and all the power, everything that you need. And also I've shared the website with each and every one. If you want to, please, my lady Chioma, she can't do it by herself. She can't do it on her own, you know, so she needs the support of each and every one. So you can visit with the website and just, if you have to donate, if you want to become one of the sponsors, please do so. I can hear the echoing. I just don't know. I don't know. So we're going to be doing a photo shoot right now. This is what I want you to do. I noticed that a lot of people they have their camera muted. If you can unmute your video so I can just take a screenshot of each and every one, you understand? That would be great. And also then after taking the photo shoot, we're just gonna just listen to music and that will be all. So thank you all so much for being part of this great section. I had a great time. You know, it's been so wonderful. Thank you all so much. And Lady Chioma, do you have anything to say to all our participants? Just the last word or something like that.
Okay, I thank you all for attending, and I'm so grateful with the turnout and everybody being patient from the beginning to the end. And thank God we're looking at about 3 hours, but we're making it for 2.5 hours. So we thank God for that. So thank you all. I love you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you all.
Yeah. Thank you, all. So now we're going to be taking a screenshot right now, and yeah, Professor Rosimidaisi, if I can see your face. Yeah, I can see all the beautiful faces. How you doing? So I'm just gonna be taking a screenshots right now. So just bear with me, and yeah, I got one part, and then the other part. Just bear with me 1 second. And yeah, and then that's it. Thank you all so much. It's been a wonderful session. I had a great time. Thank you all so much for all your time. I appreciate you. God bless you. All righty. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Take care now.
Nigerian music. Wow.
Lady Chioma, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. I put it now.
But I would give one them.
Well done, Lady Chioma, for organizing this.
Thank you for inviting
Sorry, I
me.
couldn't join from the beginning. Well done.
Congratulations. You made it.
David, Ambassador.
You've made it.
Thank you.
Ambassador Tikasi.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well done, Lady Chioma. Well organized. I'm so sorry I couldn't join from the beginning. I just got from work. But well done. I'm well behind you. You know that 100%. Keep up the good job. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I can see Tracy, Samson, Lady Adego, Melandu, Elizabeth, Felicia, Hope, Oni, Lady Queen, Lady Oni, our Joycey. Who else? Music now, thank you.
Dorcas.
Thank you.
You have your boy here. Go to Waka. Go to Waka. Your boy is here too.
Ambassador Tikasi.
Nana, unmute yourself. Nana.
What you saying, yo? Network is bad there.
Oh my God.
It's a wonderful session. It's a wonderful session. I love it. I love every aspect of it. It's like, wow.
Yo, DJ, hit him with that funky beat.
DJ beat.
You take the house. Blast the music, man.
This is what we'll talk today. And it was scattered.
I think that woman wants to know. She has to end the meeting.
Is it makes you log out?
She's waiting for people to log out. Because once she logs out, she'll kick everybody out.
Jaga, jaga. Take it. No food better. We can take it.
I'm a DJ. Now it's like which means the
baby.
You're supposed to know something of people come up.
Ambassador.
Enjoyment galore today. No people want try today. Enjoyment galore, baby. Hey. People jump around. We can release the wild cars and go for shop. Don't get me like that.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.